What's happening, everybody? The Bearded Prepper coming to you. I've got some cool little toys to show you today. Some cool gadgets that you might want to add to your preps. They're relatively inexpensive. As a matter of fact, these 4 attachments here are probably high-end $40 total, probably less if you really look around for it. And you know, excluding the little stove here, but I was so impressed with these that I had to bring them to you just to show you guys how they work, what options are out there these days, and you know, encourage you to diversify your preps as well, because these are all adapters. This one that may look familiar, that's just like what your gas grill will go on a 20-pound tank like this. Just kind of screws right on there, and you turn it upside down, let it set on this as a stand. Then you take your small gas bottles, your little count bottles, your little 16-ounce bottles, and you put them on here, screw them on, and it has a pressure relief valve. So when you get the right amount of pressure for a 1-pound tank, it pops off, it turns itself off. So, you know, that's a great option. If you ever have a shortage of these, think about it. In tough times, or let's say China just shut us off tomorrow, since everything is made in China. As a matter of fact, I can't find it here, but I'd be shocked even if these things weren't made in China. At least the tank, if not the gas. It may have come from America, but if you couldn't get these, and this was your source of either cooking or maybe your source of heat, or I don't know, whatever have you, maybe your source of portable cooking, you know, if you had to move around, it'd be nice to be able to fill these up, because, you know, 20-pound tank, 20 bottles. So I would guess, unless it's gone up recently, you know, $25 is what I normally pay to fill a tank. So that's just over $1 per container, right? These cost you what, $8 in the store? So that's a good option. Get the adapter. Make sure that it says on it that it has the automatic shutoff valve. I don't think they sell them without it, but I would still double check. So you can fill that up. But you know, these little backpacking tanks, and you know, usually you'll see them even shorter, about half the size, sometimes even smaller than that. They hold a little bit of fuel for the, you know, the clean burning lightweight backpack stoves. I also have an MSR pocket rocket that screws and sits right on top that you cook with, that served me for years. But you know, these are also just as expensive, and I would expect them to disappear just as quickly. And like I said, I can't see it on here, but I would be shocked if these weren't also made in China. Now, granted, they probably won't last indefinitely, but I have a couple of things for this that's really cool that I want to show you. One is this little adapter that I just got. Also has the pressure shutoff valve, so it won't overfill these little tanks, so that you can take them, even though they come with, you know, I think it's butane in these mostly. Your little stoves will run off of propane. So this is a propane to portable butane tank adapter. And this one actually comes with looks kind of like a stove actually, but you would put it on your little 1-pound, only on the 1-pound. It's the only thing that it'll fit. And then you take this and put it on top, just as though you were, you know, screwing it onto your stove. Then you got the little switch there to turn it on and fill it up. So not only do you get 20 of these, but you know, especially if you have the little ones, I bet you would get 3 of these, of the little ones, off of one of these. or you know, a little bit over one of these, maybe two of these off of this. So that's a great gadget to have too. You know, if you can't get the butane and you only have a butane stove that only has this fitting on it, you know, what do? Because you have to have this fitting to fit your stove. You refill it with propane. So this gives you versatility in what you're using. You know, if you can't get these, if you've got a 20-pound tank or a couple of them, I try to keep a couple of them, you can fill it up with this adapter. Then if you're moving around, want something lighter weight or want to use this stove, you can refill this one from this one. So I've got my own little, you know, gas canister refill line here for all of my stoves. But this, let's get into the really cool stuff now. I have two adapters. I have one for butane bottles, and if you'll notice, they both have the same little tip that fits these small butane backpacking stoves. And these are converters, propane converters and butane converters. So, you know, this is just actually just for filling up lighters and such as that. But they sell the larger butane bottles that are about the size of a spray paint can or whatever. So this is designed to actually go on those and lock in place and then screw onto your stove. So if you can only find those kind of butane bottles, you can still use your stove. And then more importantly, probably more common, is the propane. So this is made just like the adapter to fit these 1-pound bottles. You hear it? It comes out. So you put it on your stove because it has the little fitting. And it's just an adapter to, you know, change you over to this one. There you go. So most people don't realize that you can run these little backpacking butane stoves off of propane. It's just a different type of fuel, gives you a little bit of extra preparedness, if you will. So let's try it out. I actually haven't even used this stove. I just got it today. Look at there. Butane stove running on propane. Can't beat that. So, you know, these are just some little things that are, sorry about that. I grabbed the wrong one. That didn't work out good. Be careful when you're doing this. I'm glad I had the stove off. I just wasted a little bit of my butane. I got so starstruck by the camera and paying attention to staying in frame that I forgot to pay attention to what I was screwing off. So always put this on first, and then when you're taking it off, take that off the bottle first and then take this off last, in reverse order. So that way you don't spray butane everywhere and waste your gas like I did. But look, folks, I told you when I started this channel, I'm not going to be the doom and gloom guy. I'm going to bring you logical solutions. I'm going to bring you real world solutions from a normal guy just like you. I don't pretend to be a you know, camera star. I'm just a regular Joe just like you all, just trying to be prepared. So these things will give you some extra flexibility in your preps, because, you know, let's face it, if we hit a grid down situation, or if we hit hard times, if China for some reason shuts us off, and I know it sounds far-fetched these days, but what if we went to war with China? Who thought about that? They shut off our supply chain. We have allowed ourselves in this country to become addicted to Chinese manufacturing. It would take us a significant amount of time to be able to shift back to you know, everything being made here in America or within our allies. So just because we allowed ourselves to fall for the trap of, you know, saving money or making more money, as the case may be, in you know, in our manufacturing. So adapters are important. They give you versatility in your fuel source. You can use propane, large propane bottles to refill your 1-pound bottles. You can use your 1-pound bottles to refill your smaller bottles, your backpack bottles. You can also buy adapters that are very inexpensive that allow you to use propane and butane stoves or equipment. And then of course, if you are just in a situation where maybe all the propane in all these bottles sell out, and the only thing you can get is the bottles of camp butane, then you've got this adapter so that you can still at least use this stove even with the other butane bottles. So I'm not aware of any other adapters out there other than these that give you the versatility amongst your equipment. And while there are a lot of things that I recommend before this, like food, that's kind of important. Having a plan for safety and water and shelter, those are kind of important. But once you have some of those things squared away, or at least a good start on it, these are some of the things you should think about. Some things that are going to give you more flexibility and versatility in your preparations. If you're just trying to get by, I'd much rather be able to get by with this amount of flexibility than I had just one source. So, and even beyond these, you have the option of wood, things of that nature. The reason I like to have a lot of this kind of stuff on hand is because if you're like using this portable, you're out moving around, you have to go somewhere, or if you're trying to be secluded, nothing gives you away quicker than wood smoke. Don't believe me? Watch the movie Dances with Wolves. Enough said. But this is quieter than chopping wood, breaking wood. It doesn't give off the scent that wood smoke does, so it would help you maintain your concealment, or stay secluded if you wanted to in that kind of situation. So I like to have those options myself. Anyway, if you're aware of any other options out there that can give us flexibility on our preps, drop it in the comment section. That's what it's for. Let's get prepared together. Hope it was entertaining to you folks, especially watching my bloopers that I will not edit out. But I do, as always, encourage you to seek the wisdom of our Lord and Savior. Be prepared. God bless. I'm the Bearded Prepper, signing off.